What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's time for episode 4 of Cleveland Guardians franchise. And today we're going to focus primarily on the draft. I was talking maybe in episode 2, maybe it was 1. I guess it could have been 3, really. One of the other episodes saying what my plan is with the drafts. You know, I'll probably do some sort of draft focus episode every year. Ideally as like a standalone that people that don't want to deep dive on the draft, they can skip. Whereas those that like it, they can watch it. So not really gameplay around it. Just kind of do that. That's the episode. Then come back, finish July. Because that's when the trade deadline is and all that. Definitely have to do an episode during the draft for this one. Because y'all, we have the number 1 pick. I completely forgot about that. It played 0 into my decision to pick Cleveland. If you notice, I haven't mentioned it. It's because I forgot about it. So it's pretty awesome. I guess it's because I don't think of them as a terrible team. I guess they won the draft lottery. I don't know why I didn't really commit that to memory. Let me see. Guardians win the lottery. How high did they jump? Does it say where they were? They had the 9th highest chance. Okay. Because I knew they weren't like terrible last year. What was their record? What was our record last year? Excuse me. 76 and 86. Yeah, so like run-of-the-mill bad team. Not good, sub 500, but not horribly putrid that you get in your face caved in all the time. So they jumped up from 9. And then, let's see, it would have been Oakland, of course. Oakland or Colorado as the worst teams last year. And where are they? 3 and 4. Okay, so they didn't get completely smoked. Although, maybe you can make the case that they did, y'all, because with this number 1 pick, there's not going to be much drama. It's going to be the guy who is getting all the draft love right now in real life, and that is Charlie Condon from Georgia. He's just been unbelievable. I'm actually pulling up the draft 150 at MLB to see if he's still number 1. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. But yeah, this dude's just having a tear over at Georgia, and he just so happens to be a complete standout best player in our franchise here as well. Look at that. 75 potential, 10 points clear of Travis Mazzana, who is number 2 in the MLB pipeline top 150 draft prospects. But he's a clear cut below Condon here for us. And I think in real life right now too. I understand Condon's going to be expensive, but hey, you get the number 1 pick. You don't cheap out. You don't play games with it. Actually, I will counter that one of those. I don't say you don't cheap out because you don't just have to pay whoever, because there's been great instances of bringing down the spend on the first pick to deepen your draft. Most notably, the Houston Astros taking Carlos Correa, who wasn't going to demand the tip top of everything, and was allowed them to afford Lance McCullers Jr., who I know has had ups and downs with his health, but is a damn fine pitcher that you don't normally get at pick 33 unless you can really pay him that big money to ensure that he comes on board. So I don't want to say the don't cheap out thing. There can be justifications for going a bit cheaper. In this instance, though, I don't believe that to be the case. I believe we go all out here. We pay that man his money. Yes, I do realize it is 2024. I do still do Rounders references. I'm sorry. I can't. Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry. Okay? And how dare you? Yeah, you. Derek. Freaking jerk. I don't have a big enough audience for there to happen to be one Derek who's like, what the hell? But if you are, then you know what you do, Derek. Anyway, so yeah, I just don't really think. I'm wondering, has the draft not started yet? Like what? Why can't we pick? Oh, start draft right there. Hello, Paul. There we go. Start draft. We got 18.6 mil. He wants 11 and a half of it. That's fine. Scouting recommendation, yeah, don't mess up there. It's got to be Condon. I fire you on the spot if it's not Condon, and I'm barely kidding. Like, if our scouting director comes back with anybody but Condon here, how can I in good conscience keep him in the organization, right? I mean, look at this. He's clearly the best rated by our own scout, of course, and brings a pretty strong personality. He's kind of the quiet, amazing type, high loyalty, adaptability, work ethic, but low leader and high financial ambitions. So he knows how great he is. He's there to help the team. He's not the rah-rah, cheer him up, get on his back type, and that's fine, by the way. I think we need to allow more space for that in sports, where if you're the best, not everyone has that personality. I don't think you have to develop that to earn the big bucks either. If you're producing, that's a bonus. It's a great bonus, and it can actually, I bet it can increase a guy's payout, right, in their contract if they are that leader type. Teams definitely got to factor that in. I know I do in this video game because they've baked it in to mean something, but I think it means something in real life too. And if you've got someone who can bring clubhouses together, there is value there. But I don't detract much from somebody who is just kind of on their own. They're a cog in the machine as far as the leadership piece goes, but they are at the top of the heap when it comes to the production. There's no problem with that. And I don't know why I'm going on a whole rant about it, but I think sometimes we clown these guys, we get on them. And I don't know what Charlie Condon's actual profile is. This is randomized by the game. It might be the same in everyone's sim, but the very first iteration of it was just randomized. I have no idea what kind of guy he is, but I'm just saying this profile type in general is sometimes derided as problematic, and I don't believe it is. Now, it's different if you're low work ethic, low adaptability, not even low loyalty. That's fine if you want to get your money, although he's high loyalty and financial ambition. So he wants to get his money, but he wants it from the people that he's been with and you know, feels like he's delivered value to. But yeah, if you're a problem, that's totally different. I'm not talking about that here. This is just the quiet type who, like I said, isn't there at the front of the team bus getting everyone fired up on a 5-game losing streak, but he's still going out there putting up 2 for 4s with a dinger, you know, every series type guy. So anyway, Charlie Condon's going to be who we take. I wonder, you know what? I might try to save some money here. Not on going away from him, but maybe just negotiating with him instead of just coming right at it. I rarely do this. I usually just go meet demand and let's get going. I don't want to have to deal with it. But I wonder, with the number 1 pick, you know, since we are picking up, we got the 6th pick in this supplemental situation. Then, okay, oh, that's right. We don't pick number 1 all the way through. It's just the first round, which is a good thing, by the way. I think that makes a lot of sense. So Oakland was the number 1 there. KC was the 2, and then Colorado was the 3rd. Sorry, Colorado, I dogged you out there for a moment. But yeah, so we still have this supplemental pick though, and that's going to be pick 36. Yeah, we got enough money for it. I guess it doesn't hurt to just draft him, because then even if we offer the 11-5, there's nothing hurt by that. So let's just do that. Let's just draft and see how that goes. Some of the other guys we could have taken, but I'm not even going to talk myself into it. That's why I already drafted Condon, but now we can look at them. I understand it's like, well, why are you even looking at them now since you can't have them? Just to show you guys what was there. But Condon was the pick. Bazana oftentimes is very much a number 1 potential. He's right there. You know, the team with number 2, who is it, by the way? Cincy, they got to be feeling good here. Bazana's totally great. Just comes up a cut short than Condon for our scout. But he's fantastic. Doesn't do much over at second base, but, you know, I do want to be strong up the middle defensively. I'll give a little on second base versus shortstop. But, you know, not too much. I still prefer some defense there. I wonder if there's a world where he could maybe shift to the outfield and improve these 50s into, you know, straight 60s or something, both in real life and here in the game. I don't know what his defensive outlook is in real life, but I do have that top 150 pulled up, so let's see. They've got him for 50 arm, 50 field, so similar, where they like, don't worry about the fielding, he's hitting his way onto the ball club, and I totally get that. So let's do auto pick for them. They take Bazano. So number 3, are we going to go chalk here? Let's bring in the pitchers just to point out there are some 65s up here. Jonathan Santucci doesn't have the control to be a number 1 for me, so was never in consideration for number 1 regardless. Hagen Smith, same thing. In fact, he doesn't even have any potential growth really with his control. So that's very reliever risky. Side armor, is he actually side armor? I feel like the game this year has tagged a lot of guys side armors that I don't believe actually are. I don't know if something happened, but I just feel like I'm seeing a bunch where I'm like, really? Let me see here if this... I don't see anything. Oh, wait. Which plays up because of his funky delivery, which creates deception and riding action. Okay, he might have a little funk to him. Let me just, you know what? I'm gonna Google him. I'm gonna take a look here. Okay, no, with this delivery that I'm seeing here, just this still picture I'm seeing, it's an over. I mean, it's left-handed, but you know, he comes over the top like anybody else. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a little whippy. It's a little Chris Sale-y from the left side. I'm not even going to bother to bring it up. It's not that unique or special. So I don't know why he's sidearm here. I think I might actually change it because it creates some pretty big splits when you're sidearm. So I'm going to jump into commission mode real quick, and I'm going to take that off because it could really mitigate how good he becomes in the game just because there's baked in splits. Not every sidearmer in real life has major splits. And maybe they were just kind of seeing him with that little bit of a whip out there on that, you know, down angle on your arm. Again, Chris Sale or Tanner Houck from the right side kind of looks like Chris Sale, but I don't think it's quite sidearm. There wasn't enough funk there for me to go sidearm. So I'm gonna pull that down. Wait, did it work? No. What did I do? Did I not do it? Yeah, normal. Oh, I guess it won't up. It's not an Insta update thing. Got it. All right. So, you know, those two pictures are up there. They're okay. Connor Griffin, seen him before. He was a guy who would pop up in drafts last year. Again, doesn't jump Condon for me, but actually would have been in heavy consideration with the 2 pick. So let's look at him against Condon. That 10 home run and 10 I is just too much to overcome. Throw in 5 gap, and it's just easy. And, you know, he does get 5, Connor Griffin does get 5 contact potential over Condon, but that's not nearly enough. And even the better base running profile doesn't really move the needle. But it is a big defensive edge. 65-60-65 versus 50-50-55 for Condon. So that is a pretty big edge that does bridge the gap on the offense. Again, not enough for the 1 spot, but let's take a look at it against Bazana, who we know is mediocre defensively, and then compare their bats. And you're looking, and it's equal contact, 5 extra gap for Bazana, 5 extra home run for Griffin, but 20 extra I for Bazana, and 10 extra avoid K, and a better base running profile. Okay, so I think that, again, the defense closes the gap. There is a world where maybe I would take Griffin. Let's say, I'll tell you where I would do it. If we were the Rockies, if we were eating paste in the corner as the Rockies, I would, because premium outfield defense is so important in Coors. So there I would, but I think Bazana would have been my number 2 as well. So we're just going to look here at the top 5, then we'll skip to our next pick. We're not doing like a 3-hour draft episode here. So will Colorado take Griffin or one of the pitchers? Or maybe Marston, Sloan, Weatherholt. We'll investigate if they take one of those other guys. They do take J.J. Weatherholt, who's a bit of a utility guy, although he doesn't play super well. So he's a utility so that they can find a spot, as opposed to a utility because he's great everywhere. There's a key difference. They can both have value, but say Ben Zobrist is utility because he plays very well everywhere. You know, maybe Daniel Murphy was a utility because they had to try to find him a spot because his bat was too good. Jose Ramirez probably, you know, he's settled in at third, but I think when he was coming up, his defense was never super standout. So I think they were just trying to make sure his bat could get in the lineup, and that's where his utility came from. Pretty solid bat here, bunch of 60s floating around, only 45 power potential, so that definitely holds Weatherholt back. But a nice little second baseman, work ethic and intelligence is high, low leader, low financial ambition. Not a bad scoop there for Colorado. Oakland ends up getting Tommy White, another guy we had not looked at. Now, he's a 55, but he's got that big power. And we know we don't just look at the overalls and draft straight down from that. This is a situation where I do value him pretty high up here. I don't think this is a bad pick at all from Oakland, because if you can truly develop 70 power, that is so game-changing. I mean, that's a guy who can hit 40 bombs. Hell, even in Oakland, I believe he could. Potentially 60 BABIP too. So if he meets both of those, he can really smother the negative impact of this 40 avoid K, especially if it comes with a 50 or 55 I. So I like Tommy White. He can become one of the premier hitters in the game. Not a bad pick there at all. And I think that is the 5th pick then, right? Oh no, pick number 5 coming up, and it belongs to the White Sox. Let's see where they go. And they take Connor Griffin, who we did look at. Excellent player, solid pick by them. And I believe that they have a good system. White Sox are 13th. Okay, so a little lighter than I thought. I thought they were more in the top 10, but 13th is not bad to build on, and they just added a nice premium piece there with Connor Griffin. All right, now let's get to that 36th pick and see what's going on. Oh, wow. Excuse me, a couple 60 pitchers are still out there. We're going to obviously take a look at them, but then also all these 50 hitters. And if you hear screaming, I don't know how much is being picked up by my mic. I know that's a weird opener to say if you hear screaming. It's like, well, what are you trying to do? Jen's playing like some horror game with her friends that scares the living shit out of her. And so, yeah, we might hear a scream that's loud enough. That's why we have Henry. He's back over here on the couch. Shar, I'll trap her in here sometimes and just make her be with us to be on the dog camp. But Henry's with us because that game freaks out Jen so much that he's got to be in here. He gets worried. He's like, Mom, can I help you? Let me get in your lap. She's like, no, I'm playing a game. So if you hear that, that's what it is. So we got Duncan Marston, who, lacks some of the control that I was talking about earlier, but that was as a number 1 or top 5 type pick. Now down here, I love the premium stuff. And again, I'm gonna repeat this probably a lot over the course of at least the first couple game seasons here. The lab really, really changes how eagerly I will draft players like this to the positive, because now you can focus on what you want them to get better at, and it won't always work. I know that. It's not a guarantee that we're just going to extract extra control out of Marston or something and turn him into a stud, but at least we can plan and really hone in on doing exactly that. And that is very, very appealing to taking some of these guys where you need something very specific to come through to really turn them into a stud. One thing I will say, he does cost 7.5 mil. You add the 11.5 of Condon, and all of a sudden you're talking about 19 mil, which is actually more than we have. So that does work against Marston a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe we just go all in on the top end of the draft here. What is slot? Sloan wants slot, and it's 2.5. So that's going to give him a big edge here if these stats are close. In fact, let's just do a straight up comparison right now. Who the hell's William Schmidt? When did I click on him? I don't remember that. Okay, so him and Marston are basically the same. 5 extra movement and stamina for Marston. Does give him a little bit of an edge. And stuff. I'm sorry, he's got 5 down the line. 5 down the line. And that's important. That matters. I'm curious. I hope defense doesn't matter that much. How are they still rated the same overall? Like, what edge does Sloan have to not be a 55? Or is it something where, I don't know if the game rounds down or whatever, and so Marston's a 64, but Sloan is a 57 or something. It could be something like that. And I do forget that a lot, that these are on the 5s. And so they don't have to be 1-to-1 here. We're doing generalizations. And, I almost knocked that water. I'm so gangly, y'all. Being tall isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's pretty cool. I do enjoy it. But I'm inflatable dancing man in front of a used car lot. I use that joke all the time because it's so accurate to how I exist in the world. Just flip-flopping all over the place like a gangly ass son of a bitch. Anyway, these two are pretty close. And so given how close they are, the money is going to be a key driver. And that will lead us towards Sloan. Now let's bring up this Schmidt guy that we were looking at. Sloan's the leader in the clubhouse. He's the one who has to get beaten. Plus 10 stuff for Schmidt. Equal movement, equal control, plus 5 stamina for Schmidt. And he's only at 55. I'm even more confused now. Again, even accounting for what I was saying about the, it being on the 5. Although actually, no, Paul. Maybe. Well, no. I was going to say, well, if he's a 57, if Sloan's a 57 and Schmidt's a 55 or whatever, they're close. But, why would Schmidt be lower with the better stuff, equal movement, equal control, better stamina? He has 2 things better. It can't be the defense. Maybe it is. There is a pretty distinct defensive difference here, and maybe that's it. And so I'll leave it at that because I'm not going to bog down on this because guess what? It doesn't matter. I'm getting caught up on shit that doesn't matter. Barbary. He's got a lot more development to do. He's also 17, so that's part of it. These guys are both 18. Let's compare. I think Schmidt's the leader in the clubhouse now, though, y'all. And so then it's 5 stuff for Schmidt, 5 movement, equal control, and 5 stamina. So that's an easy one. And in Barbary's favor, or in fairness to him, he's a 50. So he's not really expected to beat Schmidt. I think Schmidt's the leader here. I don't know if we're going to find a pitcher that I like better, although Lavonis, high leader, high work ethic. What kind of money does he want? Tell me he wants nothing. He wants slot. That helps. Schmidt wants 7 mil. Oh, okay. Well, that puts Sloan back as the leader in the clubhouse. We're pivoting. Pivot. Pivot. So Marston and Schmidt are out due to money. They're not, they have to be a cut above to make it worth paying, and they're simply not. Sorry, not sorry. So Sloan's the leader in the clubhouse. Now let's compare him to Lavonis. Let's get Sloan on this side. And it's +5 stuff for Lavonis, equal movement, +5 control for Lavonis, but then +5 stamina for Sloan. And the defense is equal. And there is no hitting for either. Boy. And Lavonis wants slot. Okay, they both want slot. So that doesn't change anything from that front. 2.53 for both there. Are they both righties? Yeah. Well, and they both have leader and work ethic, don't they? Okay. I think it's going to be one of these two unless a hitter just really knocks me. Let's see here. Let's go to all batters. And you'll notice I have a little asterisk next to work ethic. I'm weeding out all the low work ethic, particularly for the first round. I am more open to them, and it was my Cincinnati Reds franchise last year that made me more open to them. I used to be pretty hard fast, like, no, I don't want them in the org. They're not going to develop or whatever. It's just not that cut and dried, and you got to be more open to them if they are the clear best player. It is a negative, right? It's undeniably a negative. But one of the things I didn't really realize is that they can grow out of it. They can evolve into not having low work ethic anymore if they're good enough. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can. And it happened with one of our best players in that sim, Luis Medina. He eventually went back to it, which makes sense in old age. Says, okay, I'm done trying. I put up a Hall of Fame career. I don't have to try anymore. But I like that they can play out of it. And if they are the clear best player, I have to be open to it. So we can look at J-Oki quickly, only to tell you that it's not the low work ethic that gets him murked. It's the 7.5 mil. So just want to point that out. But we do have a couple 55s here that I will look at because they're cheaper. And maybe that extra million is worth the trade-off, and more in the case of Blake Larson. So let's get Sloan back up here and compare him to Braden Bergman. Okay, so +5 stuff for Berg, equal movement, and +5 control for Sloan, equal stam. And I'm not checking the defense because it matters. I don't give a shit what my catcher defense is. It will help better understand the discrepancies in overall if there's a big split between them. I want to be clear. I'm not checking it because I'm like, oh, I better have that pitcher defense on lock or we're going to have to move. So, okay. I didn't really pay attention there. I said the numbers, but I wasn't really internalizing them, you know? Another right-hander, by the way. This is pretty close for me. 5 control versus 5 stuff. I think I favor control. But do I favor control by almost $1 million? I think that's wait. Bergman's switching up on us. Now he wants slot. And signability is hard, where Sloan is normal. All right, you just played yourself out of being drafted. Now what about Brie Larson's brother, Blake? Put him against Sloan. You guys definitely heard that one. There's no way. All right, this one boils down. So Blake Larson is our first lefty here, and it boils down to 5 stuff for him versus 5 stamina for Sloan. Otherwise, they're the same. And so that's all it comes down to. Extreme ground ball for Larson. Does he have a good personality? Oh, that's right. He's one of the low work ethic guys. Damn. Another side armor. Oh, that one's tough. I think I'm still leaning Sloan. Well, let's see if he's actually cheap or if he's lying. Why does it lie? Okay, he only wants 850,000. That might be enough. That dip in cost versus the 2.5, that might be enough, y'all. That's saving not $13 million. What the hell was I doing? 1.65 million. I don't know where the fucking 13 came from. Damn, I'm torn on that. We haven't even looked at the hitters yet. So this is why draft episodes have to be their own thing. Not everyone enjoys this sort of deep dive, and I respect that. But it's fun for me. I enjoy digging into it. I'm sure some of y'all at times when I'm making different decisions are like screaming, oh my God, don't do that. I do enjoy having drafts with the Twitch chat there, getting that instant feedback. They see players sometimes that I'm not considering, and that's super helpful. Tigers win. It was a crazy game, 11-7. Gives you an idea of when I'm recording this. Let's put that Braves-Red Sox game on. That's going pretty well. All right, so looking at our next pick here, this supplemental pick, do we want to make it a hitter? We got Drew Downs. He's got high work ethic. He wants that money, and he's very loyal. Decent outfielder. It's a decent bat, but I don't know. It's kind of slappy. There's no real power to speak of. I'd rather have the pitcher. So Henry just got evacuated out of here. So I'm sure Jen is wrapping up for the night and going to go to bed. Char looked out there like, oh, why can't I go? Jeez, Dad's got me twapped. Aiden Harris, now the power is here. In fact, that's the driving force. Potentially 70 power, 60 BABIP with a big arm over at third. He plays the four corners. That big arm probably happens in the outfield too. Only 55 arm. I would think, for me, I would always think like your outfield arm would be better than your infield arm, or at least equal, right? Because you kind of get to unleash it. You have to have accuracy, of course, but you kind of get to unleash a bit more in the outfield. I feel like since you don't have to have quite as much accuracy, wouldn't a great arm be a little bit better in the outfield? Maybe I have that wrong. I'm a clown. I haven't played since freshman year of high school, so I don't want to overrate what kind of ball player I am / was, because I'm not anymore, and never really was, right? Well, high school ball player, who gives a shit? But so I'm trying to like think about those though. Again, you have to have some accuracy. You can't just throw it willy-nilly, or else your big rocket arm doesn't do you any good, and it sometimes can be a negative when you're hucking it over all the fielders into the stands, Yasiel Puig, so, but in the infield, you have no room for error. I mean, you got a first baseman who can scoop for you, but you really got to be tight with it. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think on that. But I don't know. I don't really like him that much. Aiden Harris. Who had the big power? It wasn't Bazan. Oh, it's Tommy White. Let's compare those two. I don't think they're the same. I think Tommy White is definitively better, but I want to see how they shape up. So they both have the 70 power, but it's a 10-point eye edge for Tommy White. 5-point contact potential. 5 points of gap goes to Harris, and then equal avoid case. So yeah, White is definitely a cut better, and he's already got the 50 power versus 35 for Harris, but Harris is 17, so he's 4 years younger. So to be honest, we're almost getting, it's almost like a bargain Tommy White, much cheaper, right? Kirkland brand Tommy White, which is not an insult. Like that's pretty good. I'm not even saying that as any sort of dig, but I don't know. But no one's really jumping out. I could maybe get to Harris over Sloan. James Nunnally, catcher, real flat profile. Like everything's just kind of a 55 potential. I like that though. high work ethic and loyalty as a catcher. That's pretty intriguing. What's he cost? 950,000, 1.2 mil for Harris. I like Nunnally. If he somehow makes it to the second round, which is, I shouldn't even say somehow, it's not that far away. Our next pick is only 12 picks away. So Nunnally could make it, Harris could make it. So I think we take the pitcher. I feel like pitchers, generally speaking, dry up quicker in these drafts than hitters. Let's see what kind of hitter. I think there's going to be either Harris himself, Nunnally himself, or something similar to them available in 12 picks, whereas I don't know that there'll be a pitcher on Sloan's level necessarily. Although there's a decent crop here. I take that part back, but I still want Sloan, if that makes sense. Like Lavonis could feasibly make it. We didn't even look at this guy, Dylan Volantis. This is one of the better first-year sim drafts that we've seen. Like, they usually sucked last year, and it took until the computer created ones. I felt like the drafts were really light, and this one feels nice and, full with talent. By the way, is he? Oh, he's from Westlake, not Harvard Westlake. I thought he was from Harvard Westlake. That school. This guy is Duncan Marston. Dude, it was so funny. I kind of make a joke about how whenever Fried, Giolito, or Flaherty pitch, the broadcaster 1000% brings up that they all pitched together in high school. It's the MLB's version of Stafford and Kershaw being friends, which gets brought up every single time that each of them has a game, or either of them rather. And it took Tom Hamilton. I was listening to the Tigers game yesterday. Took him like 10 minutes. He did not disappoint. It was so quick. All right, let's take Sloan. I think that's who I'm on here. I think there's a lot of options. I think one of them might just get right back to us, though. Oh, wait, Sloan's asking for 3.2 now. Whoa, he flipped on us, y'all. He flipped. Now there is a little consideration. I'm sorry to completely pivot here last millisecond, but that's almost a mil more. I mean, not quite. It's like 650,000 more. Or what is that? 640 to be exact. Or 670, whatever. Math is stupid. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just a moron. Some of my buddies, I'm sure this isn't a huge feat for smart people, but some of my buddies can insta multiply 2 4-digit numbers. I know I sound like a complete dipshit marveling at that, but my brain is just not made to be insta calculator. I remember dumb shit like backup catchers from 1987 ball clubs, as opposed to useful things like math. We all pick our lot in life. All right, so I'm a little bit off Sloan now. He switched up on us. Maybe the 3.2 was there the entire time, but let's pretend he switched up on us. Now I'm looking back at Blake, the lefty. He's the project though, and he is the low work ethic. I'll tell you this. I'm gonna balk a little bit on the low work ethic thing, and say that I'm much more open to it with a college player, because they're a little bit further along the development chain. And I don't know, it just feels like it'd be easier to kind of work them through it versus, if they're only 17, 18 and they're already coming in with that kind of attitude. So you know what? I'm going to take those guys back out. And I think we might go Barbary. No, he's so bad on that home run. Lavonis. You know what? It's Lavonis or Snell. And Lavonis actually wants slot. And that 600,000 could be important to us, especially with another pick coming up so quickly. One last comparison between them so you guys can see. Let me know if you think this is out of pocket. I think they're so close that it's really hard to say that it is. We get 5 control with Lavonis and stuff. We give up 5 stam. Both 18, both right-handed, both throw 92, 94, both leader in work ethic. There's so many commonalities there that 600,000 and a little bit better ratings except for stamina favor Lavonis. So Lavonis it is. Let's go ahead and meet his demand. Locked and loaded. Next pick. We go to round 3 here, or round 2, our third pick. And look at that. Sloan's still available. Now what are you asking for? Still 3.2. I respect you holding firm there, but cut it out. Ridiculous. Barbery's still there. Peyton Toll. There's something there with pay the toll. If he becomes a stud, you can do some fun stuff like that. The lineup couldn't pay the toll today. They got smoked. Listen, I'm just an ideas guy. I throw them out. You're the one that's supposed to make them great, okay? I'm just throwing out ideas. Let's see what hitters made it. I see Aiden Harris's name. I see Aiden Harris and James Nunnally. Let's go. Oh, I didn't even do the scouting director recommendation for the second one. My bad on that. But he likes Harris. I might make this a quickie, y'all, because he still wants just recommended slot, which is now down to 1.8. Oh, actually, that's a little higher than he was saying over here, 1.2. That's okay, though. That extra 600 that we just saved, we can give it to Harris here because I like him. Like I said, bargain Tommy White much later. Basically a full round later. We lose 5 contact, we get 5 gap, and we lose 10 eye. So again, that's a cut below for me. I give White the guaranteed edge. But when you get a round of value, plus we're getting 5 extra arm, that's nice, especially if he's going to play any third or corner outfield, which we will try him at, and he's 4 years younger. So I really like this as bargain Tommy White. Aiden Harris, welcome. Now we go to round 3. No way James Nunnally is going to make it, but if he does, we will be snap picking him, y'all. Let's see if there's any premium catchers out there. All right, there's 560 abilities out there, which is nice. I do like, wait. That's overall ability. Is the framing available here, or is that perfect team only? Oh no, okay, so that ability was just there. What is their blocking now? We need the full scope. Let's put the frame and the range, or I mean in the arm, excuse me. Yeah, let's do that. Let's resave this as global. I think global, right? Yeah, global goes at the bottom, locals at the top. All right, now let's look at the framing. That's what we care about. And there are 660s now instead of just 5. Jaden Melendez, Ariston Visi, and Hudson White are they have a little bit of potential with their bat at 40, and 35 respectively. All high work ethic and intelligence too. Okay, we got to get one of these guys. Not yet. I think we can wait, but we got to get one of these 3. They are perfect prototypes for what we like to do at catcher. I honestly think I might jump 4th or 5th round with them just because I feel like the computer usually values catchers pretty highly. And we're not that far from getting into the 40s. In fact, I'm going to take somebody this round and then one of those catchers next round. Because we haven't even skipped to our next pick, so we don't even know who's going to be available. So let's do that. Yeah, we're just right here after the Harris pick. Let's auto pick. Okay, Nunnally didn't make it. Didn't expect him to. Let's sort by framing again. There's still all 6 of them. Good. But now all of a sudden, we're looking at a bunch of 45s with some 40s, and it's a different landscape. Pitching side, there's still a couple 50s, including Barbery. Now all of a sudden, some of the flaws of Barbery don't feel so bad because it's 3rd round pick, and he only wants 700,000. Okay, now he wants slot, but that's only 960,000, so we can live with that. Dylan Volantis also has the home run issue that needs to be developed, but is a lefty, high leader, high work ethic. Let's turn off the work ethic thing again just to see. And that brings Bergman and Larson back into the picture as well. Let's see if it brings any hitters up. Miles Bailey? Nah. Mateo Gray? He's kind of interesting for later. If he keeps dropping, I could see maybe getting there, but not right now. Colby Shelton. Okay. He's kind of interesting too. But again, maybe later. Not right now. I think we go back to the mound. I'm liking the pitchers here. Oh, Caleb Hoover and Carson Messina can hit. Of course, they're both low work ethic. So I don't know. Maybe this is just, me assuming things, but I'm feeling like low work ethic cannot be good for a two-way guy, especially low intelligence too. I don't know. It just feels like that's a double whammy there that we don't want. You gotta have some smarts or the ability to bust your hump. Well, I just don't want to do that. I'm already bad. I'm already bad at developing two-way players myself. I don't know how you guys are, but I struggle with it. And so I don't even want to try with a low work ethic, low intelligence. So Messina's not it. Hoover has the low work ethic as well. At least he's a leader. Because they both have like 60 plus power. Like this is a bat. This is a bat here. And he's a lefty bat. Kind of like the hitting better than the pitching for Caleb Hoover. Messina has 60 power, 55 eye, big arm in the field as well. Kind of gives him some positional flexibility. Damn, they're kind of interesting. Boy, I'm really torn. Scouting director wants Blake Larson, who we have looked at. He is low work ethic, but at this point, I mean, his BABIP's already fully developed. The home run needs a lot of work, but he's a lefty. Pretty good stuff. I'm kind of interested. He's another sidearmer. I'm not going to look up to see if he actually is. I'll let this one be since it's the later pick. I'm not going to look up every single one. I think that is probably the right pick. Let me go to draft batters here, or pitchers here. Bergman's the other low work ethic guy. Right-hander. Oh, maybe the BABIP's developed for everyone. Okay, it is. Maybe it's just this select group, or I don't know. But everyone seems to have their full BABIP already. So, okay. Dang, I'm really torn because those are some interesting bats with those two-way guys. I really wish they didn't have the crap personality profile to go with it. What if I said recommend a bat? Conrad Kaysen. I remember him. He was a big guy we traded last year to, I believe, the Twins for, was it Sean somebody? Can't quite remember. Sean somebody. Is he still going to be on their prospect list? Was it Sean? It might not have been Sean. I don't know. I thought it was somebody named Sean from the Twins. They might not even have that guy anymore. It was last year's game. So I might just be looking for somebody who doesn't exist. And do I really need to find this guy? No. Am I like stuck on now finding him? Yes. Yes, I am. Sean. I don't remember his last name, so sorting by name like I just did is not helpful. All right, I'm only going to look in A-ball and then I'll give it up. Because I think it was a little bit into the sim. And they might have got, I'm looking at Rookie League too, I lied. No, it wasn't Sean Skelly here, promise that. Who the hell was that? Maybe I'll look it up after this, recording this if I remember. But it was like a challenge trade and we were kind of losing it because our guy kept going down in rating and their guy was getting, Conrad Kaysen was getting better for them. Anyway, back to the recommendation, Blake Larson. I think I agree with this, y'all. He wants slot, 960, that's not bad. Okay, here's the game plan. We're going to try to do this. And then if Hoover or Messina makes it, we take one of them next round, and then we get the catcher in the 5th. Now, that might be playing with fire, and we might not get... Let's see if there's any pitchers. Batters who can pitch. Kaysen himself? Little bit of two-way capability, not much on the pitching, but also not much on the hitting. So he's kind of a blank slate. You can maybe take him either direction if you wanted. But let me look at the catchers again. All 6 are still there, and only 2 are 40s and one's a 35. Like we'll get one of them. It just might be a low level one. All 5 of the 6 have high work ethic. Andrew Yu does not, but he has high leader, loyalty, and intelligence. So he's still bringing a good personality to the table. Ariston Vesey is 18. The others are all in their 20s. So he's probably the one. Will he make it to the 5th round? I think there's a chance. So that's the game plan. We're going to go Larson, Hoover / Messina, catcher. Now, if Hoover and Messina are gone, we just go to the catcher next. We just don't chance it and we take the catcher. Unless one of these green pitchers is here. Let's do Larson here. Auto draft. Hoover, Messina, Barbary, Volantis are all there. Holy smokes. Adrian Rodriguez is the recommendation. Not a bad reco. Solid bat, green across the board, bunch of 50s, couple of 55s. Not much for the defense, but it's corner bat that you can see getting in the lab a little bit, extracting a little extra value. Pop a couple 60s on this profile, and bang, you're off. So not a bad reco. Not who we want, though. Because frankly, I think Hoover and Messina hit better than those guys. Let's check Hoover against him. Adrian V. Hoove. You get 5 contact with Rodriguez, aka Adrian. I just realized how confusing that was. I said 2 different names for him. Equal gap, plus 10 home run for Hoover, equal I, and plus 10 avoid K for Adrian Rodriguez. And that is a nice value, the plus 10 avoid K, but give me the plus 10 power potential, plus a potential pitcher. So easy win there for Hoove. Let's see what Messina's looking like. I so badly want to say Musina for Mike Musina, but it's Messina. Carson Messina. Is that Chris Messina's kid, the actor? Probably not. All right, so between Messina and Rodriguez, I did hit the water bottle again, but I didn't knock it over. You lose 10 contact, you lose 5 gap, you get 5 home run, equal I, and you lose 10 avoid K. So Messina's not better than Rodriguez. I don't think the extra 5 power is enough there. So then going back to Hoover, I think we go Hoover here. The 10 avoid K is a big deal, but when you hit for power like that, we'll take strikeouts. It's a worthy trade-off. His extended ability for us is extremely hard. What's Barbary looking like? I've forgotten. Barbary, low loyalty and intelligence, high leader, pretty interesting pitcher, big stuff. Definitely has some reliever risk. 17-year-old righty. But he can't hit, you know? So it's 10 stuff and 5 control for Barbary over Messina. Or excuse me, let's compare him to Hoover. It's 20 stuff and then equal movement and control. 5 stamina for Hoover. And then you get the bat, which is pretty massive. I'm going to go Hoover. I said that was the plan. Let's do that. Did any of the catchers go? Catchers, 6. There's 6 60s. We want one of these 2 40s to last. Jaden Melendez or Ariston Vesey. I will say this. I know it's probably wrong, but even if Barbary makes it next round, I'm going with one of the catchers. I want one of those catchers. I will be more mad if they go than if we don't get Barbary. And that's kind of my tiebreaker there. Like, what will piss me off more? So, Caleb Hoover. You're popping up that demand a little bit. But we're getting later at least. It's the 4th round. This is our 5th pick. We still have, bonus demands. Remaining budget room. Oh, bonus demands of them. Oh, it's because we haven't offered Condon. Okay, I was very confused why these two numbers were so different. It's because we haven't offered Condon. Throw 11 mil to him, and we have about 2 mil left. So this is a big chunk of it. Let's see if the catchers are cheap. Let's make sure. Oh yeah, they're all very cheap. Is Barbary like way cheaper? That could maybe get him back in the mix. 700,000. Oh, he kind of freaking is. He wants slot, which is actually 10,000 lower than his demand. Ah, damn it. Now I want Hoover. Hoover was the plan. We stick with the plan. But you know what? I'm only going to draft him. We're going to try to offer him a little bit cheaper because he said over here. Oh, wait, no, he said he wanted 1.4. What am I saying? Never mind. I'm painting this man in an improper light. For that, I am sorry. He's not. He never betrayed us. So we'll just pay him. Pay him his money. Next pick. Barbary freaking made it. So did Messina and Volantis. Wow, these dudes are falling. Maybe they fall another round because I want one of those catchers. 5. 1 left. And it was Jaden Melendez. Okay, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense to me. He went. Where did he go? Jaden Melendez went about 12 picks ago. Eyeball. Oh, actually 9 plus. Literally 12. My eyeball was good. So I think I like Vesey a little. Well, you get the more put together guy already. Like Melendez can probably contribute in like 2 years. A year maybe even. Whereas Vesey is 18. And so, and their bats are quite a bit different. You get 5 contact with Vesey, equal gap, 15 home run for Melendez, 5 I for Melendez, and then 5 avoid K for Vesey. And then the gloves, you get 5 extra blocking with Vesey, equal framing, but then 15 extra arm with Melendez. So yeah, I think push come to shove, I do take Melendez first if he's available. But we're gonna go with Vesey. Anderson French is the catcher recommendation if I just pick that. It's not a horrible recommendation. He has a nice bat, nice power bat, but just not enough on the defense. Good work ethic and adaptability though, so feel like you could probably train him. But why train? Why draft somebody you have to train when you've got the guy ready to go with Vesey? He's already got the defensive piece. And he brings a great personality with high work ethic and intelligence. Low leader, but again, that's okay. He could be the quiet leader type. Just be a badass and people can pick up your vibes of badassery and go from there. So we'll take Vesey. We're sticking to the plan. He only wants 240,000. We love that. Bang. Now let's see if another one of those pitchers makes it. That would start to get crazy, but they've been falling this far. Why can't they last one more go? And even if they don't, looking at Mark Barnhart here, he's not too bad. There's some pitching talent here. Kind of like Connor Gatwood with the same principle I was talking about earlier, where we can work on the control. Just lab him lab him a couple years in a row on control and just try to work that up. We got James Cliven, who also has low control at 45, but some pretty interesting stuff. Good personality. So yeah, even if one of these guys doesn't make it, there's other pitchers we like. Let's see what happens. Barbary and Messina still made it. All right, now I think we go Barbary. He still wants his 700, which is fair. Messina only wants slot, which is free. I don't know what that is. I know after the 5th round, you don't usually have to negotiate with a lot of the guys, but what do they actually get paid? I know they don't just play for free. I mean, they basically do in the minors, but that's a different story. I think I'm gonna take Barbary. I know he wants more. So Condon wants 11.5. Would you take 10.24? And I think one situation that he doesn't love isn't going to be like How dare you? And he's going to walk away. Plus, we would just get the second pick next year. Like, I mean, I'm going to sign him. Push come to shove, we're going to pay him 11.5, and it's going to be done, and that's it. But if we can get him at 10.24, or maybe even at like 10.80, like if we can just scrape a little bit off, it's going to really help us with this Barbary situation. Because I do think that if we have to go the full 11.5, then there's only 110 left, in which case we wouldn't be able to sign Barbary. So that would be bad. I do kind of want to avoid that. So let's submit this offer. Obviously, we won't hear back for a while, but that's where we're at. We have 1.37. We're going to give 700,000 here to Barbary. And we keep going. Messina made it again. Where are the catchers at, by the way? Let's see. I hope that whimper was audible enough that Char just did while sleeping. Look at that goofus. Look at that little dweebzoid. All right, so 4 of the 60s are still available, which we knew some of them would last because they're much lesser players. But Melendez gone and Vesey gone to us. We got one of the good ones. We would have definitely waited even longer on one of these guys. All right, what's the best hitting looking like here? So a lot of 45s, including some catchers, because they can't really catch that much. They're better hitters. Miles Gossain was a guy who did a few things for us in Cincy during that sim. He was kind of like, a solid middle of the roster type guy. He's got some pop, but it's really all or nothing type pop. Mediocre defense. Yeah, I think we go another pitcher. Just keep riding that right now. Is there a big infield glove? Cam Clayton here. Can't hit much. Slaps it around a little bit, but no power, no eye to speak of. Already 22. Brings a solid glove. I would want this to be more of a standout glove if I'm going to give all the bat. Especially at 22. So I don't really think so on that one. There's a couple 35 potentials here. I could see taking Michael Braswell later. And then Wallace Clark. Oh man, he's got 2 last names. Low work ethic. I do like that he can switch hit. And he's got a decent eye, or at least an eye that could develop, but bleh. He's all right. What about outfield range? Arnold Abernathy. So he's got 65 outfield range, but he fancies himself an infielder. He's got second base as his primary and second and short here on the profile. But my man, 65 range, 55 air, 50 arm. You're an outfielder. Huge speed, decent bat. Kind of in on Abernathy. Doesn't want any extra money. Yeah, I could definitely see taking him. I mean, there's a few 45s ahead of him, but again, overall is not the end-all be-all. It's, a guide. But sometimes the makeup of the stats doesn't quite hit the overall the way it should, but we know that they'll play out better. And so we lean that way. I think Abernathy or a pitcher here. And I know Messina just keeps making it. And again, he can hit. He's the other one with the 60 pop. And the big arm. So if we did transition him to hitting, he would also have the defensive capability to not embarrass himself, especially on a corner. And he only wants slot as well. Lazaro Cholera, interesting high stuff arm, and has a deep enough arsenal. Got to work over the control, but that's all right. There's James Cliven. We talked about him earlier. Great profile to go with everything. Only 45 BABIP, 55 home run potential though, 60 stuff. Kind of just throw it up there and see what happens. Great stuff foundation that you can work with though. think I might go for Abernathy. Let's get another hitter here. We've gotten some good pitchers. If Messina makes it one more, I keep trying to say Messina, we'll take him. He'll probably go here, but I like the center fielder a bit more, or at least the corner outfielder. I don't know if he's center field, but I like Abernathy as an outfielder more than an infielder. We'll take him. Pop next pick. Messina, stay there. Bang. All right, we got to take him now. He's just lasted forever. We'll take a shot with Messina. Next pick. Talon Bell recommended. He's another guy that's been just staying up there. Our scout likes him as a 45. Bit more of a well-rounded, unimpressive profile. Like nothing super stands out. In fact, he even has a little bit of a bat that's kind of 40s and 50s. Durable already too. I like that. You can play, you can play out of that too, though, or into it, as it were, similar to the work ethic. Like if you stay healthy for a bunch of years, you can escalate up from, fragile, normal, durable, Ironman. Wrecked is actually at the lowest end of that. I don't know if you can work out of being wrecked. Maybe. I've never seen it. But maybe if you string together 3 years healthy in a row or something, you can get back to fragile. I think it's a fair recommendation. I think Talon Bell, let's go for it. Lefty with some upside. Paul J. Haggerty, I think that's where Riley Green went. I think only because I'm so often on his profile that I recognize. I don't usually remember the high schools that guys go to, but yeah, that's where Riley Green went. Paul J. Haggerty High School in Oviedo, Florida. See, this is the kind of shit I remember instead of being able to do math in my head easily. Cool brain. All right, Dylan Drelling is the next recommendation. High work ethic, so you're speaking my language there. Pretty mediocre profile, but that's where we're at in the draft. It's the 10th round. It's not going to be, super high-end potentials here. There might be a standout category or two. And speaking of that, let's look at power. We got a 65 power here with Corey Collins. And this is a profile I want to take a shot on. He's already 22. So, there's not a ton of time for him to develop this power, and he can't really catch. Like, we're not putting him behind the dish, but maybe we throw him over at first and just see if this bat can mash and do so quickly. And again, with the lab, maybe we can get some of that contact profile worked through to where he's a little bit more of a well-rounded hitter. So let's take the shot on the big pop and see what's what there. Cameron Collins, welcome. Next up, standout contact profiles. There's a couple here. Edie and Espinal. Although contact last year included power, which you could still get misguided by it. It was not an end-all be-all stat, but I liked it better as a sorting stat than I do this year, where it's only focused on the BABIP and avoid K. And as you can see, these guys come in very low with their power, which makes sense. So we're down to 40s only on the hitter side. Any big defenders here? Another big outfielder, perhaps? No. 4 of the 60 framers are still there, and it is those low-end ones, 325s and a 35, so that makes sense. Might even get a second one down the line. We're at an hour now. I should probably wrap this up. In fact, yeah, this will be the 10th pick. Oh, wait, it's round 11, pick 10. So we're already past the halfway mark. I'll do this as the last pick, wrap it up, and then we'll do a draft wrap-up. I'll let you know if anybody really stands out with the last 10 picks or something on the next episode. Let's see who the recommendation is here. Dominic Friton. And you know what? That's not a bad reco. He's decent enough arm. What do the rest of the arms look like here? Ethan Lanier has better stuff. 65 potential, but he's a pure bullpen guy with 2 pitches. Friton has 3 pitches, fastball, curveball, changeup. So that gives him a chance to start. I like the reco. So there we go. We'll cap it there. In fact, you know what? I'll let the computer finish the draft so we can put a full bow on it. Auto-complete the draft. Sometimes I go deeper. This first one, we'll trust our guy. He had some pretty good recos. We'll trust him to finish it up there with the last 8 picks. And you can see that we still have to negotiate with Barbary. And, you know, we've got some money here, but we're going to come in under his as well and see if we can get something going to where he doesn't quite want as much. We'll eventually get there if he needs to, but we'll start at 550 and we'll see what's what. All right, so to finish up this episode, actually, you know what? I'm going to cap it here. I said the draft should be standalone, so I will get into the other news and notes from the time that we ended last episode to now, because we actually did make a couple moves. Small moves, nothing too, shifting of our landscape or anything, but I will get into all that at the beginning of the next episode, because I wanted this to be standalone to where if you ever skip them, you're not missing anything about the season. So thanks so much for watching. Talk to y'all later. Peace.